All right, I think we are live. Hello, everybody. Let's see. How we doing? People joining. Hello. Good to see all these familiar names. I am going to go ahead and answer a lot of questions. Let me just try something out here. Make sure everybody can hear me. All right. Hello, waving, yes. So I'm going live because I wanted to, hello, Karen. Can everybody hear me okay? Where's Raymond? Yes, where is Raymond? So I wanted to answer some questions about last week's appearance on with Brad Garrett, and that was great. For those of you that haven't watched, you can see it, and you can go back and watch it. But what happened was, when I was trying to join Instagram, and hi everybody just joining, this is Tom Caltabiano. I was a writer on there, was Raymond, and it's good to see all these familiar faces. Yes, hello Trish, hello from Toronto. Hello, yes, good, waving. Hello everybody. Yes, I'm just checking some settings. Okay, so here's what happened last week with Brad, which was a phenomenal. That couldn't have turned out better, because for those of you that watched, Ray also joined, and I want to talk about a little bit about how that happened as well. And all right, so when I tried to sign on, it wouldn't even let me get to the live button session, and so Brad was texting me, and he was saying, Tom, I'm trying to go live, but it won't let me, and it was the same for me as well. Hello, England. Yes, a lot of England. And I know, by the way, I say London a lot, and I know I mean all of England. Great. Good to hear that you watch it nightly. So last week I had everything set up. We were trying to get Brad to join. I had a big iPad, which is what I'm talking to you on now. And we had mics and all this stuff set up. And I was visiting Ray, who had wanted me to come and visit him that day. And what happened was, when we got there, it was 2:01, 2:02, 2:03. Yes, northeast of England. Hello, northeast of England. Yes, hello, Toronto. We love Canada. I know Toronto is in itself a cool town. But Canada is a very big audience for us, and we really appreciate those fans. And Ray and I performed in Montreal a lot before everybody. That was Raymond doing stand-up in Montreal, and Ray also performed in Toronto. So we finally were able to join, and Brad is not, it's not like he hasn't done this before, but he's not Mr. Instagram, so he's saying, I'm trying, and so we finally got Brad to join. But instead of having the iPad where I could read all the questions and scroll up and down and say, hey, Brad, what about this question? The questions froze. And so he couldn't read the questions and I couldn't read the questions. So I wanted to come on and kind of talk a little bit about how that exchange went down. And then, if you were watching, you saw Ray coming on towards the end. He came out at the very end, and he came on later to the later on in the, probably the middle of us talking. And Brad is phenomenal. Brad is, as you know, tremendously funny human being, and he is like a Gatling gun of jokes. And so what I wanted to do, and Brad will be back because, Patty, Brad, Ray, Phil, Tucker, most of the people were on the show the entire time, so they need to come back many, many times for us to cover so many stories. And for Brad, we only covered a couple of stories. So I just wanted to talk about Ray joining. So a lot of people want Ray to come on, and I've said it before that Ray doesn't have Instagram. He doesn't have any social media. He just doesn't do social media. And I've tried to convince him for forever. I've been like, Ray, just do this. Just do a little bit. And it's not, Ray is the most gracious person with fans. Like when we would be touring, he would always go out of his way to sign autographs and he would sit there for hours signing autographs. So it's just for whatever it is, Ray doesn't click with social media. And so when Brad said, and Brad is kidding, we know each other so well, but when Brad said, Ray can't even come on and say hello, Ray wasn't even near where I was for most of the thing, and he doesn't even know what that means. Yes, ultimately, when he came over, yes, he sees me talking into my phone, which I'm holding, and he sees Brad. And so okay, some people saying I'm frozen, but as long as you can hear me. Yeah, we'll get, so I didn't want to defend Ray. I didn't want it to seem like he was sitting there going, I'm not going to go on and talk to the fans. He loves doing it. And so, and it's unfortunate on Instagram, you can only have 2 guests. So next time we'll try and get Brad and Ray, or at some point, we'll try and get Brad and Ray into the same room. All right, I'm seeing that I'm frozen. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So I'm not frozen. It's your on their end. Okay, great. Yeah, Patty Heaton also. Bring Patty Heaton also. So yes, Patricia Heaton will do it. I talked to her whenever, and she was in the middle of something. So she said, hey, can we just push it a few weeks? So she will be on. And I think for a lot of people watching, again, this is Tom. I wrote on the show for 9 years. And I've known Ray for many, many years. And thank you, Trish. I'm good there. Great. Thank you from Toronto. So I've spent 9 years. I've spent, well over 25 years with Ray and our friendship. And Brad I've known now since for, 25 years it's going on. And Patty, 25 years. They'll all do it. They'll all come on and they'll all share their stories. And Madeline Sweeten, yeah. There's nobody that we won't get to talk to. And, you always have to assume that everybody's busy. Everybody, I try and do this at 2 p.m. on Sundays. And so there's at least some consistency. So we will get everybody. And also Alex Meneses will be on, who played Stefania. Gianni also on. So John Manfrotati. So now I have the luxury of taking a little bit of time and talking about some of the things that happened. So John Manfrotati is a stand-up comedian who Ray has known since 1987 or 88. Chuck Pecorella. Chuck Pecorella will not be on. And Pecorella is the last name of a friend of mine, and his name is Frank, but we couldn't name Chuck. That's a very good trivia point. So John Manfrotati was a stand-up forever. He's a very good actor. He moved out to Los Angeles before Ray did. And when the first season of Raymond happened, he had John do a walk-on, I think is the Cable Repairmen. You guys would know it. You guys would know that episode. Season 1, there's a cable repair guy. And that was played by John Manfrotati. Ray gave him that role, and he's good, and it was not a big role, but Ray didn't know if the show would be, he couldn't say to John, wait, he could have, but wait a few more years, I'll have a better role for you. So John played that. That's why you saw Kevin James in a different role early on, because Kevin wasn't on King of Queens yet. And so Kevin James, different thing. So because of the nature of the show and not knowing whether it would go or not, you saw a lot of these friends that would come on, friends of Phil's also. There's a lot of actors that Phil knew from Hofstra who were on, acted with Phil. Sorry, I get distracted because I'm reading these questions that I want to answer, and then it goes away. Can we get the lady who ate the fly? I think so. I don't know if I have to offer her a fly lunch or something. I don't know. Yeah. Kevin, is Kevin on Instagram? Yeah, probably. I'll see if Kevin can do it. So anyway, we'll bring back Monica, who's done it. Monica's phenomenal. So anyway, just a lot of actors you'll see in little bit parts, like Susie, the waitress in Nemo's. She's a friend of Phil's from early on. The waiter in that scene, that very first year of the in-laws where Robert is really uncomfortable, I believe that waiter is a friend of Phil's. I'll have to ask him that, as well. Okay, we watched P.P. Raymond episode yesterday. My son loved it. Great. And somebody wrote, I wrote them back that they watched with their son, and Phil and Ray really wanted to make a family show. And so it makes them very happy to hear that people are watching it with their family. Peter Boyle, yes. Peter Boyle had the best lines on ELR. So the Frank character, when you were in the writer's room, Frank would send out these insults. So it was very easy to sit there and think of these insults because he could just pepper them and get the biggest laughs of the night. So yes, it's a tough, it's a tough one. Yes, did she actually eat the fly? She ate the fly, yes, but the fly was a raisin. So it wasn't really a fly. That would be a lot to ask of an actress rather, or a waitress to eat a fly. Yeah, Amy. Yeah, Mrs. Scarpoola is the maiden name of Ray's wife in real life. Yes. Hello from Algeria. Yes, that's quite a different time zone, I believe. Okay. Sitting up Peter with the funniest lines. Correct. Hello. Nemo is no longer with us, but David Praval, who took over Stefania's father, I believe, is with us. Why didn't Ray like Pee Wee Herman as the brother Peter? Ray did like. Everybody loved Paul Rubens. Paul Rubens is who played the brother. And there was some scheduling thing, and Phil had to shoot. And Phil got word that, whether it was from Paul's agent or whatever, he couldn't do the show. And so Phil, on a network show, as they used to say, the train pulls out. It has to pull out. It pulls out of the station, and you must deliver a show. So once the season is underway, you can't just go, well, you know what, let's hold off a few days. It's not a possibility. So Phil had to make that decision to try and recast the brother, and that's where Chris Elliott came in, and he is brilliant. Yes, someone saw Chris with a massive beard that made him look like Letterman. Yeah, I have not seen Chris lately. Yes, hello Algeria, that's very exciting. Hello Algeria. Where do you watch Everybody's Raymond in Algeria? I'm very curious. Heather, you've been watching since it first aired, and you were a kid. Interesting. Are any of the episodes based on a true story from my life? Yes. Jazz Records I wrote was based on my life, a very real incident that happened with my father. Young Girl is an episode that happened to me with the Raymond writers in real life. I'll tell you more about that, but not right now. All funny stuff. Did Ray and I wrote Why Are We Here? Actually, that reminds me. So I had mentioned that every once in a while I put a picture of one of the writers standing there with Ray, and they're holding up a script. I don't have a script here with me, but they're holding up a script and smiling. And sometimes they're wearing a hat in some of the photos. And it was actually, I think, Jeremy Stevens in one of the photos is wearing a baseball cap that says something on it. And the reason he was wearing a cap, and I found this. So let me see. Was it this one? Yeah. Okay. So I think this is backwards for you guys, right? So is it backwards? I don't know. But that says the checkbook ELR 98. So Ray gave me a hat for that episode. The checkbook. That's where Ray takes over the checkbook and screws it up, and they lose their electricity. And then Robert tries to help him get money. Ray is trying to break into an ATM, and Robert comes across and tries to help him, and it's played out like a silent movie. And then a cop comes in and stops them, and that cop in real life is Ray's brother. So Robert is playing Ray's real brother, and he is in the checkbook episode. And so here's another one I wrote. This is 6 Feet Under, where Ray is worried that he's shrinking and he's having a life crisis. And then here is Ray and I wrote this together. It was the season 1 finale. Why Are We Here? Also backwards, I assume. Let's see, backwards. Hello from the UK. Shout out to your wife, Jenny Kiley. You like your wife, I assume. That's why you wanted, or you want me to say. Oh yes, Cousin Gerard. So, Cousin Gerard is played by Fred Stoller, and he is a comedian also from way back when that Ray knew. He looks like Ray, sounds like Ray, and he would be mistaken for Ray. And some people would say, some people would go to a comedy show and come up to Ray and go, "Hey, I really liked your show. I really liked your set." And Ray hadn't been on yet. So somebody saw Fred Stoller and thought it was him. So, okay, this, now it's interesting with Instagram names, it's not usually the name, it's some combo. So before moving to Southern Florida, you lived in Lynbrook. And let me ask you something, Perillo, right? I assume that's your last name, Judy. Did people know that Everett Raymond was based in Lynbrook? At least the series was based in Lynbrook? I'm very curious. Okay, let me scroll up here. Tom McGowan will do, yes. So Tom McGowan, what I was talking about before, Tom McGowan was really good friends with Phil at Hofstra, and Tom McGowan, who played Bernie on Everybody Loves Raymond. So the question is, Bernie, the statement is, Bernie, Tom McGowan was great. Yes, he's a phenomenal actor, really a phenomenal actor. And so he started out with Phil, and he played Bernie in Everett Raymond, and he was on a lot of other sitcoms. So let's scroll through these things. Yes, you wish Ray was your dad. Hello from England. I've watched ELR every morning, and every time they repeat it, I love them all. That's so nice of you to write. That's so interesting, because I think it was somebody from One Direction who was saying how they watch Everett Raymond every morning, and which is interesting. Hello, England. Now, Duckling 1988. I've recently been watching all series of her and loving them all over again. That's very nice. And we need to find out why you are Duckling 188. How much water from the hose ended up on the floor? A lot of water. I mean, every bit of water that you saw coming out, that came up, and then when they yelled cut, the crew would come in and dry everything out. Yes, Cousin Gerard, can we get him live? Yes, yes, yes. Jazz Records, right. Apart from Ray and Phil and Patty, did any of either cast have relatives appear on the show? I don't think anyone from Brad's family appeared on the show. Doris, no. Peter, no. And Peter does have a daughter who's an actress, but I think she was probably too young at the time to have been on the show. Phil's mother was in the background of the show. Ray's father, Phil's father, and then both of Phil's kids, but not speaking. One of Rory Rosegarten's son, I think. So, a lot of the when we had kid scenes, a lot of the kids from some of the writers and stuff would be in the background, like on the T-ball episode. They're all gathered around the backstop. There you would see a lot of the people. Were the episodes of Barone's Italy trip? Hello, Catherine Armstrong. Were both episodes of the Barone's Italy trip filmed in Italy or America? So it was partially both Italy and America. So they filmed a lot of it in Italy, and then they came back and filmed it on Stage 5 at Everybody Loves Raymond, at Warner Brothers. My husband, as I was watching, always created plenty of laughter in our house. That sounds past tense. Do you still have that house or that husband is the question. Wanted to know why Marie had some racy lines at some times. You'll have to point them out, because your definition of racy might be different. Wondering why Marie always called Ray Raymond, never Ray, but she always called Robert Robbie. Always wondering that. Oh, interesting. I don't know. And what's funny is I call Ray Raymond, and I don't know why. I don't know. I default to Raymond, and some people go, "Why do you call him Raymond?" And I don't know. So I don't know if that was a Phil or Ray decision to make it more formal, but we have started watching ELR for the first time during lockdown. So it's been getting. Oh, that's very nice, Catherine. Yes, yes. Marie is exactly like your mother. I hope that's a good thing. Yes, before school. Yes, it is a good thing. Yes, thank you, Trish. They're backwards. Thank you. All right, let me catch up with the questions. The Raybert concept. I think that might have been a Steve Scrovan episode. And so here's one of the problems. Steve Scrovan is not on Instagram. Lou Schneider is not on Instagram. Jeremy Stevens is not on Instagram. So a lot of these people are not on Instagram. So I may have to go live on Facebook. Yes, your mother was like your Marie was like your mother, just especially the guilt tripping. Yes, I'm hello, Tina. Yes, the guilt tripping is a big part of Marie. How did Tom McGowan get on the show? He knew Phil, and he was supremely overqualified. I think Tom was nominated for an Emmy and a Tony. I'm not sure. I'll have to check. But he was on Frasier. He was he was on Broadway for a very long time, and I can't remember the production. But hello, Houston. How's the humidity down there? Did Robert's character naturally change over the seasons, or was it a conscious decision? Robert was a lot stranger in the first season. That's a really good question, Abby. So I think, and next time Brad's on, we'll talk about it. I think Brad's character did consciously change, and we, I think Robert, the person, Brad Garrett, the person, changed, but it was a conscious writing decision. And I know Ray was very protective of Robert's character because it was portraying his brother, even though it's all made up and all kind of on its own. Sex Talk episode. Yeah. If you know who wrote Sex Talk episode and write me, I'll remember. I know there was the game. What was the episode where they played the Sexopoly game? Because that was an Aaron Shore episode. And that he had a book. I think, he and his wife, were doing this book, like The Great American Sex Diet or something like that. And so that kind of sparked that in it. Yes, I am from New Jersey. But I went to school. I went to NYU, so I lived in New Jersey and New York. Okay, tell us how the episode came out where Robert got taken by the modeling agency. Love the part where Ray takes photos in the basement with family and bedsheet. Yeah. I think that was a Leslie Cavaney script, but I thought Scrovan had that happen in his town. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yes, he was also Shamsky. Yeah. Art. Yeah. So that spelling is funny. But who would know how to spell it? Yeah. So Art Shamsky was a New York Met, and he homered in his first at bat. And we had Robert being a Mets fan, and Art Shamsky, Shamsky, is who he named his dog after. Yeah, what happened to Stephen Leo from episode 1? That's a good question for Phil. I have no clue. I don't know if he wasn't available after or what happened, but nobody, I don't know. That's an excellent question. When is Ray going to go live? As soon as we can convince him to go. Yeah, he'll go on. He will go on live. Was Brian Roberts Doris's son? So Brian Roberts is a director. No. Doris's son is named Michael Kanata. Michael Kanata, who was a manager. Yes, I cannot convince Ray to get Instagram. I've been trying for years to convince him since the beginning of Instagram, since the beginning of Facebook. So no, but he will go on, either his sons or his daughters. We'll get him live. He's not fighting it. You saw, for those of you that, so again, this is Tom Caldabiano. I'm answering a lot of questions about Brad's appearance and stuff because we weren't able, and I felt bad, we weren't able to scroll through any of the questions. What are the stages of writing script? Yeah, someone asked the best advice for writing scripts. You have to write. You just have to write and write and write. And if you want to do comedy, at least, you should write and shoot something and see if it's funny. Because the biggest problem is, the biggest block for beginning writers is not writing. So you should write a lot of very, very bad scripts, really bad stuff. And then, when you shoot it, you get to see it. Sorry, I'm reading the questions. That's why I'm hesitating. Let's see. Unfortunately, I'm not aware of anyone who knew that ELR was actually the town that the Barones lived in. That Lynbrook, yes, regardless of pronunciation. Okay, great, interesting. Yeah, so write, and now anybody can shoot stuff. Now you're limited by the actors you can get, but you should just write a lot of stuff, and you have to send it to people and be, keep trying. So, hello. Okay. I'm seeing asked 3 times which question. I didn't see that. Somebody asked the question 3 times, but I didn't see it. The UK never shows the sculpture episode. Yeah, that's interesting. And I guess I read somebody talking about the sculpture where Marie does the abstract sculpture and then she brings it home, and it's clearly very suggestive of something else. My guess is if it's that early in the morning, then that's, the date, yes, in the janitor department, okay, bring Ray and Peggy. Oh, actually, you know what? Peggy, Ray's nemesis in the cookie episode, she will definitely come on. She is Amy Aquino, and sorry, I'm making an adjustment here. I'm seeing something. She's really good. Amy Aquino is a really great actress, and she will come on. Yeah. Which actor laughed, broke character most? I would say which character broke character most? I want to say Brad, because Ray would also try more stuff with Brad. Everyone would start laughing at some point, but Brad would really, I think, because Ray would also try more second takes, and he felt more comfortable because Brad could ad-lib and go with stuff. And so I would say that. I think Peter, you can't help but laugh around all those funny people. Season 1 had different wallpaper and it was not stripes. Interesting. Yeah. Well, they're allowed to remodel, I guess. And I think the presentation pilot, everything got scrapped. If you notice, it really looks different. Do you still find American families like the ones depicted on ELR? Absolutely. What episodes am I on? Yes, Director Brian Roberts was not Doris's son. Let's see. Traffic. Yes. I was in Captain Nemo. So I just threw Brad a ball in Captain Nemo and said, Robert, it is. And that was literally just because Phil said, let's help out Tom, because at that point I wasn't a writer yet. And so they needed somebody, so I was in that. And then The Recovering Pessimist, I introduced Marv Albert. That was the scene with Katarina Witt. And then in the wedding episode, Phil needed photos for the final shot. So I'm trying to think, was it Robert's wedding? I can't even remember now. I think it was Robert's wedding that I was playing a photographer, because it was a lot easier than me trying to hide and take pictures. So that's why. Why only one episode with Marie's sister or Deborah's sister? I guess that's all the storylines they thought of. Ray always seemed like he was trying not to laugh in his scenes with Cousin Gerard. Yeah, he is a funny guy. Bad Moon Rising might have been a Phil episode that happened to him. A big fight with Monica, but he can talk about it. Monica, who played Amy. Golf for It. Yes, I think I wrote that episode. with Tucker and Mike Royce. Gulfport. That's where they are in the van the whole time. We thought that was a great, not because we wrote it, but we just thought for pure writing, the whole thing takes place basically in a car, and that's a challenge to keep the audience's attention. So we did think that was good. Yes. We did think that was good writing, rather. And I think it got a standing ovation after the first take because it was such a long, intense take that the whole audience stood up. It might have been the only standing ovation from the audience at the time. Yeah, why did Brad change his voice for his character? Yeah, I think he just felt it was funnier, and I will have to ask him next time he's on. Remember that. Come back. Had to act Italian. Yeah. Korea, when Frank said the word, yeah. So Phil's father in real life was in Korea, in the American Army, stationed in Korea. Someone wrote, that's not true. Channel 4 showed the sculpture episode the other day. A little bit of a disagreement about whether the sculpture is being shown. I'm from northern New Jersey, from Sussex County, really. But a lot of places in New Jersey. Palisades Park, Patterson, Saddlebrook. Let's see. Yes, Parker is Patty's husband. That's right. That's correct. Let me see. All right, scrolling through these. Love the Peggy character. Yeah, she's great. Amy Aquino is great. We'll have her on here. And Maggie Wheeler, who played Janice on Friends and who is Bernie's wife on the show. So let's see this. Did Peter's health speed up the show ending? Peter's health was a factor in that, but honestly, we didn't know what was wrong with him, but we could tell that his health, that something was wrong with him, but we didn't know that anything was wrong with him officially until after the show ended. So, front entrance was changed too, yes. Why did they change the boys' names from season 1? Yeah, the name change of the boys, for some reason, Ray just didn't want his sons. He wanted more anonymity for his sons, even though his daughter's name didn't change. What about the magic regrowing cake Marie made for Deb's sister? Did no one notice? Yes, because I don't know what you're talking about. Did the cake reappear or something? Was it a continuity problem? Oh, I did find out from Rhonda, who was our props person, where that cake was made. I will write it. They had a special cake that they called the Rhonda cake, which was extra fudge. It was a fudge cake. Love Charles Durning in ELR. Charles Durning was phenomenal. Yeah, he was great. And I'll talk about it, his long conversation I had with him another time. Yeah, Traffic Cop Timmy, actually, in the writer's rooms, I'll put up a picture of this. In the writer's room, I had a ventriloquist dummy that I brought in, and one of the writers thought, oh, this would be good for Robert to vent a little bit. So that's Traffic Cop Timmy. Comic book store, Ray and Paul Rubens was great, yeah. I saw a blooper where Patty was frustrated with Ray not saying the lines and pointing to him and said, millionaire, pointing to herself, actor. Oh, that's funny. That was a funny blooper, yeah. Somewhere, you guys can probably see it. I would talk to the audience for a little bit, and I would whisper jokes in between scenes, not while they're filming. And Patty it's in the blooper reel. It might be season 5 blooper reel. Someone will find it who watches. And at some point, Patty just goes, Tom, when you whisper into a mic, everybody can hear you. And she was not really mad, but it was very funny. And I was like, of course, that's why I whisper, to get an extra laugh. What about Good Girls? One of the best episodes ever. Yeah, I have to find out where Good Girls came. I think that was Monica inspired also. Yes, Dumont, New Jersey. Hello. Who were they wrote the episode that Robert was gay in his bright yellow shirt? I don't remember that one. Paula, I don't remember What was the name of that episode? I don't remember that. I remember at the end of the one where she eats the fly, they suggested that Marie said, just come out and admit it already that you're gay. Hello, Scotland. Future writers, yes. Go back about 15 minutes ago, but future writers, yeah, write a lot. Write a lot, write often, and shoot some stuff if you can. Oh, I missed that. Where can they find something now? Did I have any say in the casting of any characters? Yes, only in the episodes that I wrote. So when you wrote an episode, I'm trying to think. Ray and I wrote golf. It was just called Golf, and we had a Dr. Sundram in it, and so the casting director Lisa Miller Katz, who we'll have on Instagram Live. She would let's say take 100 submissions of tapes. The blooper reels are on YouTube. If you look at YouTube and just search for Everett Raymond blooper reel, you can find them. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh, casting. Yes. So Lisa Miller would narrow down. She'd see 100 people, and then she would bring 10 for the final day, and we would sit in office. Phil, whoever wrote the episode, and then Lisa, and the actors would come in one at a time, and they would read their parts. And then you would sit there and go, I liked him, I liked the second guy, I thought the third guy was a little bit pushed it too much, but I liked his look, And then you'd have the discussion, and ultimately Phil made the decision, but Phil was very democratic, and there would be a conversation. So if Phil said, I really like the second person, and you were like, I thought he was terrible, then Phil would have a discussion. When will Patricia Heaton come on live with me? As soon as she can, I will let you know. Oh, yeah, Sherry Shepherd. I love Sherry Shepherd. Let me reach out to her. Sherry's a good one. Yes, Sherry Shepherd. She was great. My father said the best show was Italy. He's 93-year-old and loves the show. That's very nice to hear, Edna. Yes, the Italy episode is a lot of people's favorites. Hello. Who picked the opening theme music for the show? That was Phil. That was Rick Marotta did the music, and Phil did it. Yes, 20 years ago. Today, the first episode aired? Wow. Why Lynbrook? I live in Lynbrook now, and we heard Actual House is in... Actual House is in, not what it's there. One of the writers suggested Lynbrook because I think her relative lived there. And I think Lynbrook is Brooklyn inside out. The house is out in Long Island. It's a random house out in Long Island. If you go on YouTube also, you'll see some people walking to that house. Search on YouTube like Everett Raymond House. And I think they erroneously say that Kevin James worked on the show on Raymond. He did write an episode with me and Ray, but that's not how he got our show. How he got his show. It wasn't a spin-off or anything. It was him. The Canister, yes, Brad was so funny. Hello from North England. The Canister, yes. Hello, Phoenix. Do I talk to Ray often? Kelly. Hello, Kelly. I talk to Ray. I probably see Ray 3 times a week. So I talk to him 3 times a week when I see him, and sometimes more, depending how busy we are. Let's see. It was What's with Robert? Oh, What's with Robert, Paula? What's with Robert? I have to look who wrote it and where that came from. Yes. Bada bing, bada boom. Rewatching the episodes makes me realize how risky some storylines were. What episode received the most reaction? There was not a lot of, they're pretty heartfelt, sincere episodes, so the sculpture is a little risky because what you're showing. Frank handing out condoms is a little bit risky. So there wasn't one or two episodes that, oh my god, we're really pushing the boundaries here, because it was a pretty safe show for families. Bada bing, bada boom. Did the famous sports athletes who were on the show get paid? Yes, they got paid. Yes, Ray was in last week's episode. For those of you just tuning in, this is Tom. I was trying to answer just some questions because last week when Brad did it and Ray dropped in twice, we couldn't see any of the questions. So I'm just trying to make up for that, and I felt bad because we had Brad. Next time Brad's on. Yes, let's see. Seeing all the blooper reels. Yeah, check out the blooper reels. And if anybody finds where Patty is saying, Tom, if you whisper, people can hear you. And then she kind of shakes her head in disgust. Yeah, the canister. The characters you were amazed at how the characters kept a straight face. Do we still do Christmas parties? So Ray has a Christmas party, not really a party, a Christmas dinner. Ray's wife has a Christmas dinner. And Doris used to have a Christmas party every year at her house, something called a greed party, which was great. I'll post a couple of pictures of that. A lot of laughs from that. I just saw the one with Robert's chin habit, crazy chin. Yes, I wrote that. I believe the crazy chin, I wrote that with Mike Royce. That is directly from Ray's brother in real life. So what did I do before writing? I was a full-time stand-up comedian for 10 years, even though I went to school for finance and management, and I opened for Ray, and we toured together. So I was a full-time stand-up comedian. That's my occupation. And you can teach writing skills. It's very hard to teach funny. These are great questions. Yes. Thank you, Paula. Yes. You missed Doris. Yes. Did Ray and Deb show up on Kevin's show, King of Queens? Yes. I can't remember if Patty did it, but Ray did it twice. I'll post some pictures. I think I went there both times. I don't remember, but I'll post some pictures of Ray on King. Do you guys want to see pictures of Ray guesting on King of Queens? Show me some hearts, and I'll post that. I assume a lot of you like King of Queens. Yes. Yeah, I just found a great picture I took of Jerry Stiller also. Okay, thank you for doing that. Okay. It's so easy to relate to. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for these thank yous. It was very nice of you. Did all the cast learn Italian specifically for certain episodes? Yeah, they phonetically were helped with it. Both Ray's parents are Italian, and so he heard some Italian. But yes, Brad. Doris was in, Doris did King of Queens too, and Peter. Yeah. The episode with Ray putting Deborah on the fridge. So funny. Was it planned? Yes, everything was planned. Somebody wrote, I'll put pictures. Somebody asked a question, and I don't know, you never know who's watching if they ask the questions. Yes, The Middle was a great show with Ray and Deborah. Yeah, so I went, when Ray did The Middle, I went to that episode and talked to Patty and took pictures. Somebody asked because of the fight in baggage where Deborah's pulling the suitcase and Ray is pulling her by her legs, if that just happened, that was planned. I will send you. I'll put in some pictures of the rehearsal of that. So you'll see Deborah's head is straight down and Ray is holding her, and Deborah's script is right by her head. It's very fun to see. All right, a few more questions. Did I get to the Brad Garrett stuff? Yes, Deborah at the Lodge. Good question. I don't know about Deborah's at the Lodge. Yeah, Teresa, that's a great one. I love when Marie says yes, Connecticut grandma and real grandma and grandpa. Who wants Tootsie Pops? That's me. Oh, that's you? Okay, that's great. Yeah, that's a great thing, because Marie obviously did not enjoy the company of Deborah's parents. Why didn't Brad guest in the middle? I don't know. Let's ask him. Let's ask him next time he comes on. A lot of times, they have to be offered a part. They have to be available that day or that week. There has to be a part for them, because stunt casting is the term for that. Somebody guest starring, so that's why the sports stars, the giant sports stars, with something called stunt casting, where you're trying to get ratings up by putting somebody that's a huge name. So right now, when you watch a giant sports star on Never Was Raymond, it seems weird. You're like, why are they in here? Back then, when they're trying to get ratings, CBS was saying, oh, more people will tune in because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar will be on the show. And then it looks a little crazy if the show works. It's just like if you watch the I Love Lucy pilot, there's a famous clown character that Desi Arnaz loved, and he's in the pilot. And he must have had a great act, but now everybody loves I Love Lucy and knows the characters, that it seems weird to see this outside person. And that's the same with the sports stars. Yeah, Flashback was planned. Someone asked, was the Flashback just coincidence, or was it planned? Yeah. Were Robert Culp and Katherine Hellman funny on the set? I don't remember them being funny. They were both very nice. Katherine Hellman, delightful, but I don't remember of them, kidding around or not. What's my favorite episode? There's, I loved the PMS episode. There are just so many good episodes. I loved the Young Girl episode because it was very similar to something that happened to me in real life. Yes, Shamsky was the dog named after a guy from New York Mets, Art Shamsky. Were you ready, Matthew Rogers? Now, Matthew Rogers, 75. Is 75 your birthday, or why did you throw that 75 on there? Were you ready for ELR to end, or did you want to carry on? I personally wanted it to keep going because when the show ended, so did my paycheck. And so did, and in all seriousness, you're working with 130 people, and, it's very hard in life to find a job that really you enjoy doing and is doing well. And when a show ends, unlike a business that's, let's say, failing or something, the show, it's done and it's at the top of its game. And so it's a very bittersweet thing for it to end. Do I still write as much? I would say I probably write more, but I'm doing different projects. Yeah, I just finished 3 years on a Lego animated series, and also a couple of other things. All right, we're running. How are we doing on time? Yes, the PMS episode. Great episode. Never jumped the shark. Yeah, I think if you look at that last season, I think there was the one with Pat Secret where she smokes. I think The Power of No, the last season, like some of the best episodes of the series were on in the last season. So Phil and Ray decided it was time to end while it was still on top. Great PMS, yes. One of the best performances by Patricia. True. And Patty is an amazing actress. So sorry if this has been asked before. You can ask different questions. I mean, you can ask the same question twice. This is a friendly environment. If we can't have a friendly environment on Everybody Loves Raymond's fan page, I don't know where we can. Okay, sorry it has been asked before, but whose wife couldn't cook, hence Deborah's lack of cooking? Yeah, if I would say that would be more Phil's wife, because Ray's wife is Sicilian, and her mother was a very good cook, and so I don't think I think Anna, who you saw, I grabbed Anna last week and pulled her in, put my arm around her before Ray, because she and afterwards she said, "I thought you were just talking to Brad on the phone." She said, "I had no idea that you were talking to a bunch of fans." But so it was a fun moment if you go back and watch that. Yeah, we can ask Phil, or we can ask Monica, who's a bad cook. Ended on a good note. It's good for shows to end while they're still good. Yes. My favorite, yeah, so many, yes, great, Marilyn. Your so many episodes, yes, tissues, the invasion, Robert smoking, yeah, that's Pat's secret, yeah, great, all great episodes. Why did we feel something was wrong with Peter? Peter just didn't look well. That's why we felt something was wrong with him. And if you look at him at the beginning and look at him at the end of the series, you do see a change. So, but he could still score. Chris Elliott. Yeah, I would love to have him on. I don't know. Is he on Instagram? That's the biggest problem. Let's see. That could have been, yes, very good. We love Monica. All right. Final questions. We're running out of time here. Wow. Time really flies. So I'm going to, I will be on the next week. And hopefully you guys have more questions, and we'll probably have more. Any comments by Doris seeing Patricia actually cooking on TV? Yeah, I think the TV was on. Yeah. I don't know who I'll be talking to next week. I have a few lined up, but I don't want to say who will be joining us because it will be, yeah. And we'll bring back, yes, we want to see all the main cast back, etc. So, all right. Thank you so much, everybody. I think, there was one question. Oh, someone asked about 9/11 and the cast. We had I'll talk more about it with Phil, and I'm hoping Phil's assistant, who is still working with him, is on next week. But the cast flew into New York City, I believe September 10th, or the 9th. But they were in the green room of the Rosie O'Donnell show when that happened. And I had a ticket with the rest of the writers to fly in, I believe, September 12th. And so we were supposed to fly in the next day because it was the DVD release party for Everybody Loves Raymond. So thank you, Carolyn. Yes, thank you, everybody. Tracy, everybody. All right. We will see you next week. With your questions, and if I'm going to have a guest, I'll announce a lot longer, but we'll see you next week at 2 p.m. Thank you, everybody, for all these great questions, and if I miss them, I'll try and answer them during the week. All right, thank you very much.